Votre toast, je peux vous le rendre, Seigneur, Seigneur, car avec les soldats, oui, les torrents peuvent s'entendre, plaisir pour plaisir, sans les combats, mais si quelque passage ou de fête, laissez une plainte du haut en bas, les spectateurs, la tête, les spectateurs, s'appellent une boîte et que l'amour t'attend, prenez ma bonne, l'amour t'attend. Seigneur, Seigneur, car avec les soldats, oui, les torrents peuvent s'entendre, plaisir pour plaisir, sans les combats, mais si quelque passage ou de fête, laissez une plainte du haut en bas, les spectateurs, la tête, les spectateurs s'appellent. Votre toast, je peux vous le rendre, Seigneur, Seigneur, car avec les soldats, oui, les torrents peuvent s'entendre, plaisir pour plaisir, sans les combats, mais si quelque passage ou de fête, laissez une plainte du haut en bas, les spectateurs, la tête, les spectateurs s'appellent.
Okay, so I'm here at the after party for the MEM-Gala. So I actually have the creative director, the guy who inspired all of this for everybody tonight. It was fantastic. Now, tell the people who you are.
My name is Erand Williams.
Okay, Aaron, tell me about your vision for this incredible show tonight. The show was fantastic. I have been to other shows and things like that, but nothing like that here in Memphis. Nothing with the class that it was. You had opera, you had dance. You know, it was a message and arts and for a good cause. Can you tell me what inspired you to have this event?
So the event itself, it was a vision given. I refuse to say that it's my vision because once a vision is given, you are walking on the point of you're not knowing what the expectations will be. All your objectives is to work and follow that vision that is given to you.
Wonderful. Can you tell me where you think the state of fashion? We were talking about how Memphis is known for music, food, unfortunately, some other unfortunate things in Memphis. What about fashion designers compared to New York? We all know Paris, things like that. Where are we on the map with that?
So where we are, we're still on the back burner. And I am boldly and proudly happy to say that because of I'm a model myself, and I put that to the side. My desires is to be in a production industry and producing fashion shows, and not some fashion show that most people are accustomed to. Reason being is because, Memphis, if it's safe to say, Memphis is on the more urban type of mentality. And it's just like being able to mix that and properly give fashion where it's next to New York and Balmain and somewhere in New England, UK and stuff like that. They're not registered in that because they have not been given the opportunity to transform themselves to give that presentation that they really want.
Yes.
They really want it, but they don't have the lead or the guide properly to give them, to show the models that this is how you're supposed to portray a model. Designers, this is how you need to represent your work. Don't just throw your work in the fashion show because the word fashion show is there. There's a lot of people that don't understand what fashion show is.
Yes, and I love your models. Not to cut you off, but I love your models. That was one thing I appreciated as a stylist was the models that you had in the show. They were fantastic. They were perfect. The way they looked, their looks were important. Diversity was important. You had some representation of everybody, and that is very important. And it was classy, and which I love because we know we've got fashion shows, everybody does them, but sometimes we see the same type of fashion show, kind of like your, urban wear in our church, and we see our ladies in our church wear and things like that, but this was next level. So do you feel like you've lit the beacon of light at the top of the hill for Memphis, and that you're going to do this again?
Yes, this is definitely, when I say a vision given, the vision is not just one hit or quitter.
Okay.
The vision given is for the expectation for this to go on for years and years.
Okay.
The objective is to change the demographics of not just Memphis in entirety, but what everybody is so accustomed to is to watching celebrities on the red carpet, presenting all these top designers' names on the red carpet just to go inside, and that's it. We don't get to see what goes on inside. And a lot of people are lacking in knowledge about the fashion industry because all they want to do is just to be a model and put on clothes and walk on the runway.
Oh, yeah.
So the MEM-Gala in NYC is a charitable event. Mm-hmm. So when people hear charity, they automatically would sink into a point where it's just like, oh, this is going to be a great event. And you still got to pay attention to the cause.
Yeah.
As well. You have to pay attention to the cause because, a lot of people there, they could be in for themselves. And if you're in for a cause such as big as this, the National Foundation for Transplants, money, the objective is to raise the money and not to have the money.
Yes.
And there's a testimony behind that, but that's a whole nother story.
Yes, and I want to come back and keep up with you and see what you're doing with that, because I know this was raising awareness to raise money for transplants, which is very important for everybody.
The beacon of hope. We had the opportunity to give hope to the people that have the opportunity to live in their purpose. So with that money being donated to them, there's an opportunity that may ended up having that. Whatever, if it's a $600 deal, all they needed was $600 to go ahead and go through that surgery.
Right.
To God be the glory for that.
God be the glory.
If we can do that, that would be amazing. The objective was to be able to save more than one life. We didn't get the goal, but we had something to start off with.
Oh, that is awesome.
The fact that I am proud to say that we can donate that money to the National Foundation for Transplants, that seals the deal for me, period.
Wow.
And nothing, absolutely not a dime is in my pocket from this event.
That is wonderful.
Everybody that paid towards this, it wasn't for the benefit. We had people to donate and people outside of this. A lot of people that attended this event was from out of town. We had Baltimore, we had Alabama, we had Chicago, we had North Carolina. And mind you, they all wasn't acquainted with me. There were people who actually, even sponsors, flew out here to attend an event and to see where their money was going to. And I purposely wanted them to do that because I want you to know your money is not going to something rinky-dinky. Your money is going to something that you would be proud to put your money in and represent it in the proper light, in a proper way for people to come in and enjoy in a proper manner in a multicultural environment.
Yes. So, what's the next goal? We're going to see another one of these shows next year. So we're excited about that. And hopefully it will get more recognition, which I expected to.
It got recognition where I didn't expect for it to happen. We actually had an interview that happened on Channel 5 News. I think that's what it is. And it was on Bluff City Live.
Wonderful.
And Nina, who is one of the sponsors, also the coordinator that helped me bring this thing to life. She filled in for me while I was at work, and I was proud to actually have her to do that for me. And she represented well, and just to see that, I was just like, it actually happened.
Well, I am so proud of you. I have to say, being in the bridal and formal industry, which is mostly what I do. I don't do streetwear, but inspiration comes from that when you are a stylist and you work with people. And so having this was refreshing. It was enlightening, and it definitely was something that we definitely needed in Memphis. Right now, with everything else that's been going on,
and it's more so for people entertaining it.
Yeah.
I mentioned that in the event. It's people entertaining it, and we're being fed that constantly, and having people in fear and worries, knowing that there's more here to experience and enjoy versus what most cities go through. We're the city that fabricates it more. That's all it is. So if we can find something and keep it rolling to allow other somethings to trickle on in, that can be almost to a place where it's just diminished, and it's just like, that's just somewhere in a bad neighborhood kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's so much more here to offer besides just festivals, barbecue, and everything like that.
Right.
Like we have in the corner like restaurants and boutiques and stuff where you can peacefully enjoy and just say, "Oh, I love Memphis."
Yeah.
And I've asked quite a few people that moved here how they like Memphis, and their first experience is just, well, and I knew they was gonna say that.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah,
that every time
yeah.
on purpose. So we're looking to change that. And
Yeah.
this is the objective. This is why it's the beacon of hope for the cause, the beacon of hope for people with raw talent to be exposed in proper light, and for people that want to attend something like this and go in the back of their closet and say, I've been looking for some place to go to have this to wear and enjoy myself.
Don't you love that? And speaking of the raw talent, designers, what do you have to say to some of those that may be interested in wanting to be a part of your show? Because I could tell you really selected very carefully who you had, and it was something different. It was nothing was the same.
Was to be different. If you see the purpose in the person and them going beyond an urban mindset, we had one in particular that had a denim jean collection, unstitched and remixed, and she remixed it and did the dang on thing. I found her on Instagram, and she only had but a few things, and she was not being given the opportunity to show that craft that she had, and it touched my spirit in some way. When my spirit is touched by something, I'm going for it.
Yes.
So when I saw that, I saw the talent, I saw the potential, I saw the uniqueness and the different in her work, and I said, no ma'am, you have got to be in this. You have got to, because whatever MEM-Gala is getting ready to set and take off, you have to be one of the reasons. Everybody that played their part, even models, I'm pretty strict on certain things, but I mean business.
Right.
This is his business, and you have to have that firm foot in order for people to understand, okay, this is not just for games and play. We mean business, and that's why the models nailed it. Every model that walked on that floor nailed it, because
Sure did.
I mean business.
Yes.
So it's not an I situation. It's just the fact that if you want this thing, you have to be firm about your work. Designers, you have to be firm about your work. Series that you want to be in a proper light and want it to be represented properly, and not just something where people can stop, drop, and roll in your clothes, and now you got to figure out how to take order out of it.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
not for a club. If you want to represent your stuff and your stuff represented correctly, you have got to find the right target market and find the right people that you want to put in your clothes. Don't just hop in a fashion show just to be hopping in. Unless when I modeled, a lot of fashion shows that I walked in I used it for scrimmage here in Memphis. As for me to tweak up myself and the way
Right.
I walk and present myself as a model, so I can take that on out of here.
And that's okay, because like even as a stylist, when I see new designers, or I see people are trying to get into, that's the new thing now, who want to do prom and they want to do formal. There's a couple that I know that are really good. There's a designer that I know. Her name is Kiki. She's fantastic. I forgot Kiki's last name. I think it's Jones.
Okay.
She's really good, and I could tell from the stitching, from the detail. You just know. You know when it's someone that's not skipping steps,
exactly.
and they're doing it with quality.
Every designer that was a part of this did that.
Yes.
That's what it was. All hand created.
Well, thank you so much for giving me this time. I really appreciate it. Create TV is something new. We're still building it. We're still building that brand, and then we want to showcase some of these interviews on Instagram and on Facebook to just kind of bring that light and the fashion to the city and to Memphis, instead of just it being in New York. And so that was the goal for tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We love you.
Anybody have any questions or want to partake in next year? Planning will probably start within January or
Okay.
February. You can reach out to me via email, and that's erand.williams@gmail.com. Or you can look on Instagram just to see highlights from the event. They're not up just yet. But on IG, the Instagram handle is d.angelosscript. That's D'Angelo's script.
Yes, and I will tag that, and I'll try to chop these up and put it on Instagram for people to come back and look at it so they can enjoy each segment. And then I will definitely tag that in there.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, darling.
I thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.